Season 1 of The Lord of the Rings of Power introduces Galadriel, an elf from the blessed realm of Valinor. After the Dark Lord Morgoth destroyed Valinor's 2 magical trees that gave the land its sacred light, Galadriel and the elves traveled to the continent of Middle-earth to wage war on the evil threat. Though Morgoth was eventually defeated, his powerful sorcerer servant Sauron lived, as did an army of orcs who now serve a new master. Galadriel's brother Finrod died trying to hunt down and kill Sauron, and now Galadriel swears to continue her brother's quest. Thousands of years later, Galadriel is continuing her quest that most others have given up on, as centuries of peace have lulled the people of Middle-earth into a sense of security. After finding new evidence of Sauron's presence, Galadriel travels to the elven capital of Lindon to seek aid from the High King Gil-galad. But Gil-galad refuses to acknowledge Sauron's presence and instead encourages Galadriel to finally return to Valinor. Galadriel's friend Elrond encourages her to let go of her unending quest and retire to an eternal life of peace. And so Galadriel departs Middle-earth via ship to return to Valinor. But before arriving, Galadriel has second thoughts. Resolved to uncover Sauron's continued danger to the world, she leaps off the ship to continue her quest. Elrond is sent by Gil-galad to assist the elven smith Celebrimbor on a new project. Celebrimbor is building a forge to craft an object powerful enough to restore the fading power of the elves in Middle-earth, but lacks the resources and workforce to complete his mission. And so Elrond proposes they ask the nearby dwarves of Khazad-dûm for their assistance. Elrond is an old friend of the dwarven prince Durin IV, and though Durin is upset that Elrond hasn't visited in over 20 years, including missing his wedding to Disa and the births of their children, the pair still reconcile and Durin agrees to supply dwarven aid. As the dwarves help Celebrimbor create his forge, the elven smith suspects that the dwarves are hiding something, and demands that Elrond investigate. Elrond discovers that the dwarves have found and begun mining a new extremely valuable element known as mithril, but promises Durin to keep it a secret. When Elrond refuses to break his oath to Durin, Gil-galad accuses him of valuing dwarves over elves, and demands he obtain mithril to restore the elves' power. Elrond reluctantly seeks the help of Durin to convince his father, King Durin III, to align with the elves and supply mithril. King Durin refuses, viewing mithril as too dangerous, but Prince Durin proves a loyal friend and helps Elrond mine mithril in secret. When King Durin catches them, he banishes Elrond from Khazad-dûm and strips Prince Durin of his royal title, before sealing the mithril mine for good. While at sea, Galadriel is saved by a group of men from the Southlands, who all perish in an attack from a sea creature, save for a man named Halbrand. Galadriel and Halbrand are eventually rescued by a group of men led by Elendil, who takes them to the island kingdom of Númenor. Queen Regent Miriel denies Galadriel's request for a ship and crew to return to Middle-earth, as the human inhabitants of Númenor resent elves for not being granted immortality as in Valinor. Instead, Galadriel finds support in the sympathetic Elendil, who takes her to the Hall of Lore, where the pair discover that Sauron is planning to form his new evil empire in the Southlands. More determined than ever to return to Middle-earth and defeat Sauron, Galadriel encourages Halbrand to join her, admitting that she knows he is secretly the rightful king of the Southlands, descended from men loyal to Morgoth. Working together and developing romantic feelings for each other, Halbrand and Galadriel could defeat Sauron and avenge both of their bloodlines. Galadriel then learns from Miriel that she saw in a crystal ball known as the Palantir a cataclysmic future that she believes will occur if Galadriel is aided in her quest. But as Galadriel prepares to set off for Middle-earth with only Halbrand as her companion, Miriel receives a spiritual sign that changes her mind, agreeing to personally accompany Galadriel back to Middle-earth with the power of the Númenor army as support. Númenor's Chancellor Pharazôn supports Miriel, but secretly he schemes to advance his own mysterious goals. Pharazôn's son Kemen begins dating Elendil's daughter Eärien, who fears for the lives of her father and brother Isildur in battle, and begs Kemen to convince his father to intervene, but to no avail. Joining the journey to Middle-earth is Elendil alongside his ambitious son Isildur and Isildur's friends Valandil and Untamo. In Miriel's absence, her ailing father, the king, begins to die. Thinking Eärien is Miriel, he allows her to access his Palantir. Following the king's death and in Miriel's absence, Pharazôn is left to determine Númenor's next move. I want to cut in real quick and tell you about this video sponsor, Incogni. Did you know your personal information could be getting sold online right now without you even knowing about it? I'm talking about your name, your phone number, your address, your social security number, your online activity, your location history, and more. Data brokers use websites online called people search sites, which basically compile detailed personal profiles on millions of Americans and publish them online for anyone to see. That can leave you exposed to scammers, online harassment, and identity thieves. And it doesn't just affect you. With your household and employment information on these sites, your associates, your family, even your children are at risk. And that's where Incogni comes in. They reach out to data brokers on your behalf to make sure that your personal data is removed. You just sign up for an Incogni account, grant them the right to contact data brokers on your behalf, and then sit back and let them go to work. I was shocked upon first signing up for Incogni and realizing my own personal information was found on over 100 different data broker sites. But Incogni got to work immediately to secure and remove my information. And the best part is, anytime my info pops up on a new data broker site in the future, Incogni will automatically detect it and take care of it. My personal data is so secure with Incogni that not even the all-seeing eye of Sauron can access it. So go to incogni.com/recap and use code RECAP to get 60% off your annual plan. That's incogni.com/recap to take your personal data off the market. Thanks to Incogni for sponsoring this video. Now let's get back to the recap. In the Southlands, the elven soldier Arondir is stationed amongst a small village of men where he falls in love with a human healer named Bronwyn and forms a bond with her young son Theo. When a nearby village is destroyed by orcs, Theo finds a broken sword bearing Sauron's mark in the wreckage. Arondir is captured by the orcs while Bronwyn and Theo warn their village to flee to the nearby elven tower. The orcs' elven leader Adar sends Arondir back to the humans with a message: swear fealty to Adar and the orcs or die. As Arondir tries to rally the villagers, the human Waldreg convinces some of his fellow men to side with the orcs. As the orcs overtake the human settlement, Adar threatens Bronwyn, forcing Theo to hand over Sauron's sword. As the orcs prepare to slaughter all of the humans, Galadriel, Halbrand, and the Númenorian army arrive to defeat the orcs and capture Adar. As the Númenorians celebrate their victory and the residents of the Southlands unite under their returned king Halbrand, Adar reveals to Galadriel that he was the first elf turned into an orc by the Dark Lord Morgoth, that he had personally killed Sauron, and he was simply trying to build a new home for the orcs. And as part of that plan, Adar had secretly given the broken sword to Waldreg, who uses it to unlock a nearby dam, sending rushing water into a chamber of lava and causing a volcanic eruption in the Southlands. Adar and the orcs escape their captors and look on at the destroyed area as their new home, which Adar names Mordor. Amidst the devastation, Miriel is blinded, Halbrand is critically injured, Antamo is killed, and Isildur is presumed dead. Elendil is devastated by the death of his son and grows bitter toward the elves and Galadriel's quest causing such devastation. The Númenorians depart Middle-earth, but Miriel vows to return to help fight the rising orc army. Galadriel then takes Halbrand to receive life-saving medicine from the elves. Elsewhere, Harfoots are an unassuming race, constantly moving with their communities to avoid danger. Sadok Burrows is the group's elder who notices a change in the night sky's stars as his people prepare for their winter migration. Nori Brandyfoot and her best friend Poppy are more adventurous than the rest of their people, and when a meteor falls from the sky, Nori discovers a stranger in its crater. Nori and Poppy care for this stranger, who doesn't speak their language, but is revealed to possess magical abilities and a great knowledge of the stars. The other Harfoots are furious when they discover Nori has been harboring the stranger, viewing him as a danger to their people. As the Harfoots begin their migration to the Grove for winter, the mysterious yet loyal stranger follows them to offer his support. As the stranger uses magic to protect Nori from the dangers of the forest, he is pursued by a trio of mysterious mystics. When the Harfoots finally reach the Grove, they discover that it has been destroyed by the volcanic eruption. Finally beginning to trust the stranger, they ask for his assistance in using magic to restore the land, leading him to inadvertently hurting Nori and scaring the Harfoots once again. After banishing the stranger, the Harfoots marvel at the Grove's regrowth. Unfortunately, their caravan is then attacked by the mystics as they hunt the stranger. Nori decides to lead a group including her friend Poppy, Mother Marigold, and the elder Sadok to warn the stranger of his pursuers. When the mystics reach the stranger, they inform him that he is their Lord Sauron, and they wish to restore his memories and bring him back to his full power. Nori's group reach the stranger and save him from the mystics. During the fight, Sadok is killed before the mystics realize that the stranger is not in fact their leader Sauron, but instead an Istar, who then banishes them to the unseen world. Recovering some of his memories and finally able to communicate with the Harfoots, the stranger explains that Istars are wizards, and that he must return to Rune to learn more about his powers and his purpose. As the Harfoots learn to trust the stranger and grow ever more slightly adventurous, Nori's family encourage her to accompany her new ally on his adventure. As Galadriel reunites with the elves to heal Halbrand, Elrond returns from Khazad-dûm with only a single piece of mithril in his possession. Celebrimbor bemoans that they do not have enough of the valuable mineral to restore the elves' powers. Fortunately, the recovering Halbrand is a master smith and helps Celebrimbor devise a way to create an alloy from the mithril that will allow them to multiply its power. As Halbrand and Celebrimbor craft two powerful rings from the mithril, Galadriel looks into Halbrand's lineage and realizes he has been lying about his identity and is not in fact the king of the Southlands. Upon confronting Halbrand, the man reveals his true identity as the Dark Lord Sauron, asking Galadriel to serve alongside him. When she refuses in shock and disgust, Halbrand attempts to kill her before fleeing. The fundamentally shaken Galadriel then encourages Celebrimbor to craft 3 rings, as 1 will corrupt, 2 will divide, but 3 will balance. As the season comes to a close, Elrond discovers Halbrand's true identity, but is too late to stop the forging of the 3 Rings of Power.